whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Elden Ring, the most highly anticipated game since its announcement in 2019, is finally here for all to enjoy. With excellently crafted illustrations and deep storytelling, this is going to be a Souls game that you don't want to miss out on. Starting out, you'll get an array of different characters that you can choose from, being a bandit, hero, or warrior, and make those your new characters for this new adventure. Obviously, you can still purchase items from some of the vendors around the map, and even meet with some interesting NPCs, but you'll also be encountered with a lot of boss fights that you might be familiar with some attack patterns for. Despite the typical boss fights, you'll also be encountering in the open world a lot of new enemies, but you'll also be able to use the new stealth mechanic so you can sneak up on unsuspecting enemies and get the drop on them for critical damage. Through the open world, you'll find enemies scattered everywhere, most of them dropping items and even runes which you can use to then purchase things from those vendors. Just like previous Souls games, you'll be able to use the runes to also level up, and that will come in handy when you fight bigger opponents that will drop even more runes for you to recover. The difficulty is pretty much normal. You can either learn to improve with looking at attack patterns, or you can level up all of your items. And even if you were to find some NPCs that will sometimes occasionally give you dialogue, you'll be able to upgrade a lot of your techniques and even more of your arts. NPCs can give you special items or teach you certain things, and even at the beginning of the game, you're gifted with Torrent, a horse that you can use for the open world to explore and even fight enemies on the back of. All of these things culminate for a great gameplay experience, and if you're not used to Souls games, it might be a little overwhelming at first, but it's easy to just pick up and learn a little bit more at every encounter. Monsters in the distance and even some of the foliage and the shrubbery around you have great detail to them, and they look a little bit better than previous Souls games entries. Certain areas will have dynamic weather where it can possibly rain, or it might change the sky color to something a little bit different like red, but it also has a day and night cycle that you can also become more familiar with and find different enemies. The world of Elden Ring is scary, and it can be a little daunting at times, but if you stick to your guns and you are able to level up and make your build a certain way that you wish for it to be, everything becomes a little bit more clearer in that regard. As you can tell from the background looping music, that it's nothing short of inspirational and epic, which is one thing that I really enjoyed about my playthrough of Elden Ring for the 90+ hours. A lot of work and effort went into making this game one of the biggest games of the year, and possibly of the past decade. If you're looking for something new to master on a journey in an open world RPG land, this is definitely the game for you. And experienced veteran Souls players will have fun just as well as newcomers to the franchise. If you're interested in Elden Ring, even just for a little bit, I would highly recommend this game, as I gave it a 10 out of 10, which is something I don't like to do very often unless I know it warrants it.
I offer you an accord.